Keynote by Honorable Dr.Jo Etienne Abela.
Welcome to you all. For those of you who are from overseas, welcome to our little island, little country, Malta. I would like to start by reminding you that here, this place has been associated, and it's back in the day, a good few centuries ago, this was one of the foremost healthcare giving facility in Europe. Not only that, it was one of the foremost academic centers for teaching of anatomy and surgery. So whenever I come here, I must admit, I do get goosebumps, and I can't get over it. So anyway, healthcare at present, we are operating, we are striving to always give a better service. And I feel that we're doing that upstream. Why? Because in our environs, our surroundings are always resounding with what we're calling now the perma-crisis. We had COVID, then we had conflicts became wars, and I'm no economist, but you know that these jolts to our system will cause logistical and human resource problems that will become, to a large or a smaller extent, implicating on health. On top of that, we know that our population is inexorably becoming older. We are aging, and we are feeling, especially in our country, in Malta, that our birth rate is gradually dwindling. So we've got this issue that we have an aging population with all the added comorbidity, with all the added requirement for care. And here I'm not talking about long-term care, I'm talking about acute care and also long-term care. But we have a good section of our population, I'm talking about going now to 25%, which is over the age of 60. And our problem is that the ages below 20 in our country, as I said, are dwindling, so much so that this section of society, we cannot hope that this section of society will produce the healthcare workforce needed to look after older persons. On top of that, I'm sure you are all acutely aware that climate change is causing havoc. I need not remind you of the most recent disaster that befell Europe in Spain a few days ago. And these are shocks to the system that, despite our aspiration for preparedness, these shocks will always come as shocks. So I think that in such an environment, it is extremely important to prioritize our workforce and make sure that every technological advancement that is happening anywhere in the world is harnessed to augment the human element, the workforce itself. And I think, but these are the thoughts of the European Commission, of the WHO. Prevention has to be the foremost pillar of healthcare in the future. We have to make sure, as I said before, to harness every possible asset that we can get our hands upon and make sure that we invest in prevention. Every €1 invested in preventive care, I used to think last year, would be saving us €8 in treatment costs. However, at a recent meeting in New York, those calculations have been reset. For every €1 that we invest in prevention, we can reap as much as 20 to 25 euros in treatment cost. So technology, especially deep machine learning, artificial intelligence, is key here. But as I always stress, we need to make sure that we are aware that in our society there is a digital divide. What do I mean by this? The digital divide is the section of our population that is still unable to converse with advanced technology, with digitalization. We need to make sure that in every effort that we push forward, we are not pushing some people in our society backwards. So whatever digital, technological solution we come up with, we need to make sure that this is equitable, that this is ethical, and that every person, bar none, in our society is able to access this. I spoke about digitalization. I am very glad that Malta is moving ahead with digitalization in patient records, digitalization in procurement processes, digitalization in e-prescription. So these are extremely important advances that first and foremost guarantee as much as possible continuity of care and security of supply. With regards to emergency medicine, emergency care, we look forward to harness the beauty, I would say, of telemedicine in order to make sure that patients presenting to our emergency services are properly streamlined. And this is, I think, the basis of ensuring an efficient and efficacious way of managing our emergency services. One platform, every asset in the country harnessed with one unified aim. And then I can talk about patient monitoring. Again, we know that advances in patient monitoring, from looking after patients in the intensive care setting, high dependency care, even general ward care, and going to long-term care, there are advanced solutions that we can employ in order to improve our patient monitoring. And this is especially important in an ambience where human resources are thin on the ground. So when I speak about advancement, technological, digital, call it whatever, I don't want to imply that now we are using a digital system that will do away with human beings. That is not the case. We know that human resources are thin on the ground, and we have to make sure that the technological advances are augmenting the work of human beings. I can also talk about theater, and I'm glad that in Malta we are moving ahead with projects like robotic surgery, advanced laparoscopic, and even endoscopic surgery. I must say that it's now a few years that our endoscopy unit at Mater Dei Hospital has been employing artificial intelligence to help our specialists detect early lesions within the bowel for a number of years now. One other important advancement that we're going to witness over the next few months is the delivery of important healthcare products using drones. Ours is a small archipelago, but we are convinced that the use of drones between our healthcare facilities in Malta, but especially between Malta and Gozo, will be a game changer, because this will open up opportunities for the hospital on the sister island to offer backup services to our laboratories in Malta. But on top of that, we want to deliver pharmaceutical supplies to the sister islands in order to increase the capacity for oncological services for our Gozitan residents. And last but not least, virtual reality. Already over the past year, we have collaborated with a company that was doing research in virtual reality in order to help our elderly patients resident at St. Vincent de Paul facility in order to help their rehabilitation and their return back to normal activity. So there are two ways of looking at healthcare. I said, I feel that we're always struggling upstream. That is one way of looking at it. The other way is to look at healthcare as a vast arena that is rife with exciting opportunities. And I think this latter way of looking at healthcare is the best way to move forward. So again, I welcome you to Malta. I welcome you to this event, and I hope you will have a very productive conference. Thank you very much. Good day.